Any problems at all? I mean, we've done pretty well with the wiki, I'd say, so far. Wouldn't you say, Denny?
So far, absolutely.
So we've got really...
Everybody see the comment that I put on your wiki? Okay.
Done a really good job. So, so we're going to add a few more things today, teach you to do a few more things. I would like to say something about the problem we had with the unit file generator yesterday. It's kind of a peculiar problem. The fact that your computers are running Windows 8, and it's also the fact that your computers are faster. Computers keep getting faster. And the problem seemed to be the fact that the program was outrunning the closing of those Word files. You know how the Word files, it would create those? It would go on to the next command, and since the Word files weren't closed yet, it would stall out. So I've put a delay in there, and as a Band-Aid, we'll see if that works. What I would encourage each of you to do is to download a new copy of it. I put a new copy out there, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. You don't have to worry about that right now. And the reason I want you to know about that is that if you start populating that sheet, and it conks out, what are you going to do? You spend an hour filling it in, okay? What do? Okay? What I would do is I would save the file, because it's a spreadsheet, save the file, and then, if you haven't downloaded that new copy, download the new copy, and then do a copy and paste. But I would download the new program first, okay, before you get started. Anybody started populating the unit file generator with their own files? No? Not yet. Okay. No brave souls yet, huh? Okay. So here's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. We're going to show you how to upload your documents to the wiki. We're going to talk about updating the documents, kind of doing a little bit of maintenance. Okay. And so we hope to have you out here before the allotted time has arrived here. So let's talk about uploading your documents. Does anybody know how to upload the documents? Anybody done that before?
Is it same as like uploading the pictures?
It's a little bit different.
It says add files at the bottom.
Ah, it says add files at the bottom. Very good. Okay. So we're going to do that. In fact, I'll walk through my slides and to a point, and then I'll go get some files, and we'll kind of walk through that. So we will use the unit file generator. How many of you were able to create files yesterday with the unit file generator? Okay. For those of you who were, okay, you can take those files and upload them, and then go back later and delete them. Okay. For those of you who weren't, had some problems, and you wanted to re-download the unit file generator, you can pick any file to upload. You can always delete it later on. It really doesn't matter. All we want you to learn is how to upload those files. Okay. We will. If you want to generate more files, we can use example 1 or 2. I would encourage you to use example 1 in there, because I noticed example 2 has some underscores in there, and it comes up with an error. So we can use those if you want to generate files to use. Again, the documents are blank, so there's really no point in putting them up there other than to see how you can upload them. One of the things you'll want to do, and I'd encourage you to do this, if you create a document, okay, let's say the unit plan for Unit 1, don't change the name of it. You can keep uploading it. Now, what happens if you upload a file to the wiki with the same name?
Do you want to replace it?
What's that?
Will it say, do you want to replace it?
No, it won't say that at all. Anybody ever done this? When you upload it, it'll write over the top of it, or it looks like it writes over the top of it, but it'll put over to the right-hand side, and it'll say V2. So if you click on V2, it'll take you to another page, and it'll show you version 1. So version 1 is still there. So don't be afraid to upload stuff. It doesn't delete stuff, okay? So it's forgiving in that sense. So I'd encourage you, don't change the names of your files, okay? Because that gets too complicated, okay? Keep one name, and otherwise your wiki starts looking like, my house does sometimes. It doesn't. It's kind of messed up. Let's see what's here. And we're going to go over some stuff in the appendix. Denny's going to cover some stuff a little bit later on. So let's get started. Go ahead and find your wikis. Now, where are your wikis at? How do you get to your wiki? Sites at google.com. Anybody at your wiki yet? Okay, very good. Okay. So click on Unit 1. Okay. And when you get to Unit 1, there's a what does a pencil mean right here? Oop. Okay. Edit the page. Okay, we're going to edit first. What's this symbol? Add a page. And what's this? There's just more stuff there, right? Okay, so those are pretty key symbols right there. So what I want you to do is when you click on this, you should be able to edit this box at the top. I want you to put something in there. Okay, you can change it later. Just put a descriptor in there. I got Unit 1 projectile motion. Okay, so go ahead and put something in. And let's see, when you get done with that, just go ahead and click Save.
Wait a second. So if we're in, like, we should be in Unit 1.
So click on Unit 1.
Yeah, and then, oh, edit.
And then click on the pen. I guess this is a pencil here. Click on that pencil. And then just change that title. Okay. How are you doing? Good. I should have one of those green cards or red cards or whatever that David had the other day. So now you should have a title here. And when you hit save, what happens over here?
It changes the name.
It puts the name right there. Okay. So now you've got kind of an index of your units. And believe you me, that is really nice for your coaches because they can see, what they've talked to you about. Okay, you talk to them about projectile motion or whatever. They see that name there. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, and you click save. Okay. Now, at the bottom down here, there's this add files. So go ahead and click on add files. Okay. Now I'm going to walk through this and then I'll see how you do. Okay. Now, when you click add files, what happens? It opens up the browse window. Okay. So now, where are your files? Where at on the desktop? Unit archive. So you want to navigate to the unit archive on your desktop. Now what do you want to do?
Click on the file you want to upload.
Click on the file. Well, double click it so that it opens it up. Okay. Now, how do you select these files? Here. How do you select those?
I always click the first one, hold down shift and click the last one. But
Okay, so click on the first one and then hold the shift key down and click on the last one. Don't upload the unit plan, this poster document at all. Well, because we're going to change that later. So what was it again? So click
the first one, hold down shift and click the last.
Click the last one and then it'll highlight all of them. Okay. Okay. And then click on the open once you've got them selected. Now, let me go back. Let's look at some other things. What if I only want to upload this one and this one? How do I do that? Hold the control key down and click on each one. Okay? And here's a tip. Control A will select all of them. You can do that as well. Okay? But I don't want you to download or upload that. So, Marcia?
Archive, where should that show up?
It should be on your desktop. So click on your desktop here and see what you because then what it'll do is if you leave the file name the same, it'll upload it right here. If you change the file name, what's it going to do? It's going to put a new one. It says 3.00 and well, which one is the right one? Okay? So you only want one copy of each file on your wiki. You don't want some teachers we've seen where they say, oh, I want to keep that version and so on. Well, it still has it there. It doesn't show it on here. I'll show you that in just a little bit.
Jack, do you want to demonstrate on
I am going to do that. I'll walk through that.
We should have opened it.
Okay, I did open it. Okay, so there's this wiki that I created. And this is what it looks like after I've uploaded it. So that's kind of what it should look like. I put a video in here and so on. But let me walk through. I'll put mine in Unit 2 here. Okay. So walk me through this. What do I want to do here? Well, what was the first thing we did though? What's that? Okay, let's do the pencil. Okay. And I'm going to call this projectile motion as well. Okay, so I put that in there. Now what? Save it. Add files. Okay. Now I could pick any files I want. I'm going to go to my desktop. And I think yours probably looks, I'm using Windows 7, so it probably looks a little different than yours. And we want to find the unit archive here, which is right here. And okay, so I'm going to use Lori's trick here. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to hold the Shift key down, and then click Open. Okay, so that's what it looks like. The advantage of using Google Chrome is the fact that you can select multiple files. If you use Internet Explorer, you can't do that. Okay, another advantage of using Google Chrome. Okay. So we'll just let that go for a second. I just want to show you another feature here. Okay. Notice you got this comment box at the bottom here. Okay. Now I probably shouldn't do this. Some coaches like to use that. I personally don't put comments on your wiki. If I send a comment to you, I send it in an email that you're the person that manages your wiki. If I put a comment in here, it shows up on your wiki. So to me, I like that to be relatively clean. But what you can do is, so let's do the little gear here. I think on my other slide it said more. That's probably a holdover from last year. Okay, and click on Page Settings. Okay. Now this is a bonus here. This is not in the presentation, so you'll have to. So right here you've got some things that you can change. So if you don't want Denny likes to make comments on page. If you don't want Denny to make comments, now maybe I shouldn't show him this, Denny. Yeah. Okay. So I can just say I can uncheck that, allow comments. I mean, so somebody else could add stuff to your wiki. Okay, so you can kind of control that a little bit as to what goes there. Okay, and I'll just hit save.
Well, and explain the reason why is you can't delete the comments.
Oh, really?
The owner of it, the one that wrote it, like me, and you have no control over those, other than you can turn them off. But that's what we found is we had a lot of coaches making comments and it made the page really long, and that's not a good way to communicate. So I won't do it often. I agree with what Jack's saying.
I don't. Yeah. So remember, other teachers are potentially going to come to your wiki site and look at your documents, and if you have these comments there, I think it's kind of distracting, and it's not as good a quality, I guess. So one thing I just noticed is that when I unchecked allow attachments, these actually disappeared. Okay. So I turned it back on again so that we can see those. Okay.
That's what I meant about comments. You can turn them off by clicking that.
But we should leave allow attachments on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The one attached.
So now that comment box is gone at the bottom here. Okay. But I can add more files, and this is how you would upload more. If I uploaded these same files again, I'd have exactly the same number, but right here, what would that say? V2. Okay. And if I wanted to see version 1, I just click on the V2 here, and it'll take me to another page, and I can see the previous version. Okay. What are these things here? So download. Where does the download go? We're at on the PC. What? The download folder. There's actually a download folder. Okay.
Can we upload Google Docs on here, or does it have to be Word?
Oh yeah. Well, these templates have to be Word documents.
Okay.
We're going to get into why, but if you're creating wikis and you're creating content on Google Docs, you can add from Drive.
Okay.
And then it's kind of a pass-through, and it doesn't take up space on your wiki. So it's a really good method if you're using a wiki site for your own personal use, your classroom use, and all of that. But for our use, we really need this material there because these documents end up being downloaded by the administration and then they publish them somewhere else. They need those documents in the proper form.
Yeah, if you put them on your Google Drive, you may forget that it's linked, you delete it, and then you can't get to it.
Yeah. So you wouldn't, unless it would be worksheets, those kinds of things, PDFs, you could put those on your Google Drive.
You can have an Excel document here and so on. So those are all different document types. Okay. The unit file generator only creates Word documents, though. So, and again, what we talked about yesterday, and I'll just refresh your memories a little bit, sometimes you don't want the file that it generates, you just want the file name. Rename your PDF, your Excel document, whatever, with that particular name. Okay, any questions here? What would you put up in here, up in this area right here? What might you put there?
Unit description.
You could put a unit description, so you could put text. What else? You could put a picture of...
Well, your student's doing it if you have their permission.
Okay, so you got to have permission to do it. Okay, what else?
Video if you choose to make a
Video, okay, so a great place to show off your work. Okay, put your poster out there or whatever, link to your poster. Poster might be, I don't know, what's the size of a typical poster, Denny, do you know?
Well, they're getting big. I would recommend not doing much with that on our Seams wiki. Again, if you create your own, then you can do different things to them. But that space at the top, we really want your link to your YouTube video of your unit video that you create. And since you only have to do one, then obviously you wouldn't have one up there for that. But some other things that I've seen that teachers have done is they either create or they find videos on YouTube that are really good about the topic that they use them as hooks to show the class, you know, to get them excited. And they insert those up there as well. And it doesn't take any space away. Can you show them where that's, remember where that is to show them about the size? I don't think we ever talked about the limitation.
On the size of, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Gotcha, okay.
You go to the top there under gear.
Yeah, a manage, there's something called manage site here. And if I scroll down, there's something called site storage. So I'm using 2% of this 100 megabytes. Can you buy more? I'm not sure. You probably can. I don't know.
Google Drive for my store or for my school, and I have a lot of stuff on there, and I haven't even hit my limit. So I think it's pretty.
This is 100.
100 megabyte. These Word documents aren't that large at all. They're relatively small files. So
Videos will take up more space.
if you actually put the video on that site,
Embedded, not.
you're gonna have a problem because those are huge, right? So we always want to link to you upload it to YouTube and then link to it, okay? Because then the link doesn't take any space.
Video show up at yours?
It will. It will. That's how I did mine. Is that? But what you have to do is it will pick what it wants to show on there. But what you can do is you can actually force it to show what you want by capturing an image. So that's a different discussion. So
See that?
What's that?
So, the limitation is what?
100 megabytes.
100 megabytes. You know, a real high resolution photograph could be 100 megabytes. So you don't want to put, you know, big PowerPoints and big files, you know, and files and big PDFs and all that kind of stuff here. So I really would advise you to put a lot of your materials that are not the templates on your Google Drive and then add them to your wiki. And I can show you how to do that.
Just so like you want a video on there, have it so that it's a link to go to your
Yeah, do not upload your video file, MPEG-4s or WMV. I mean,
too big.
it's gone. So that's something it's a workaround that we have to do to get the free wiki site. But as long as we know that, we don't stick a bunch of content. So that's why I say keep that top window clean. But some people do put posters. They're not that big, you know, so it's okay.
So I've got 2 units now with projectile motion. You can delete those files out of there when you're ready to do that, okay? If your coach goes and looks at it and says, oh, they're doing projectile motion, I wonder what's going on. So.
I'm sorry, maybe I caught a bit of that. You said not to put the videos there? Because I've opened up people's wikis and their videos are there.
They're YouTube videos.
You upload it to YouTube.
You insert them there, but you're not uploading the file.
Okay.
You're uploading the video file to your YouTube account.
Oh, no.
Then you're copying the URL of that YouTube video, and you're inserting the URL into that top space. And that's what Jack has on that other page. Actually, and what it does is it just plays the video on your page,
Got it.
but it's not playing it on, but it is playing on the wiki. It's not taking up any space because it's looking through your wiki page to the YouTube page. So it's a pass-through, and it's the same way for Google Docs. It's really slick. It's a neat thing.
Even with the Excel spreadsheets, I mean, the PowerPoints I'm seeing on there?
Well, we need your PowerPoint as a PowerPoint file. So that, and they're going to be big, but there's only 4 of them, you know, so it's all right. And some things we do need to have the documents, but some things that we don't. Now, Jack, that's a question I have when I was just telling them about uploading their worksheets and stuff. The worksheets are also labeled correctly.
Yeah, they should be labeled the same way, 3 point or 1.1.
So the question is then if they put it on their Google Drive and they use the redundancy. We're going to repeat some things and try to make sure we hone it in. And then questions, we'll try to answer some of those at the end. And I want to show you some other features of the wiki. So managing your wiki, how do you delete a file? Everybody knows how, right? Sure. How do you download files? You know that it's the arrow, okay? And can I recover old copies of my documents? That's the old versions, yes, we did that. What happens if we upload a document of the same name to the wiki? What happens? Version number. Sorry. And if I click on the download button, then it actually downloads into the downloads folder an actual Word document. So when I click on that, it opens in Word, and I can actually see exactly the way it was intended to be seen. Okay. So the downside of downloading is it actually makes a copy on your computer, taking up space. Not a big deal, but that's what it's doing. But if you just want to take a look at it, you can just click on it. So that's what that is. Okay. All right. How do you view your files? 2 ways. And how do I let my collaborators know that I have made changes to my wiki?
Can they subscribe to changes?
Your collaborators should subscribe. And if they subscribe, they will get an email notice every time you blink your eyes. Every time you change a word, do anything, believe me, my email box is so full every day, it's unbelievable. I use wiki sites with every class that I teach. And it's a really neat way for me, because my curriculum, everything I do is digital. Everything's online. I have no papers. And everything is done, the only thing I have to do is transcribe it and then insert it into my gradebook thing, right? But everything else is done. I mean, I can teach the class almost without even being there, but, you know, they pay me to be there. So that's how the collaborators will know. There's another way to get a hold of your collaborators, and obviously that's through Gmail, right? A lot of times the collaborators have very big email boxes as well. And lots of times when emails come across at the same time, it'll appear on the same line. And there'll be a little parentheses with a 2 or a 3 or a 4. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
If you click that, then all of a sudden you see all the emails that came across at the same time. Many times, when you're in a hurry to clean up, you can delete that. When you delete it, you delete all of them. So sometimes they may miss a notice, and if you want them to see it, and they haven't said anything or whatever, you can always send them a personal email. That's been shared. So you guys are going to be best friends throughout this whole thing, so don't hesitate to send in emails. Okay. So. How do I change theme colors on my wiki? We didn't talk about that, did we? But I've seen some of you that did that. Because some of you have been doing this stuff before, I suspect. Right? Or you watch the videos. So let me just do a quick demo of that as well. So this is a very vanilla wiki. I'll go back to the home page. And the way you change the look of it is you go down to Manage Site. And then under Themes, Colors, and Fonts, down here lower left-hand side here. You click on that. And then you have lots of controls. And for my students at school, it's too much controls. Because they create some of the weirdest color scheme things, and I have to go, and I make them make me an owner as well. And I'll go in and I'll fix them so I can read it. I mean, it's got to be so I can read it, you know. But you can change the header. There's all kinds of things. One of the things that we will allow you to have some creativity here is you can mess around with the theme thing. You can add, I know some of you have school sites, right? And it has your school logo on it. I mean, you can do some of that. If you're a special science person, math person, you have some neat cool little thing. You can put your own header up there. There's some stuff you can do, but the other thing you can do is choose these standard things. I like Microsport a lot, personally. And I leave everything by theme, but notice that you can change the color, the image, the wrapper, all of that stuff, and you can change all this stuff. And then you can see a snapshot of what it looks like down here, and you say, oh, I like that, so I'm going to change it and do that. So once you've done it, then what you do is click on John Doe again, and now it's different. Now it's got this, color scheme thing. Now, I would advise you to use some common sense, and that is if you pick one of these that has fancy fonts and colors that are not high contrast between text and background, that makes it hard to read. If it's hard for you to see, it's going to be hard for everybody else. So just be careful of that. But surely have some fun with that and play around with it. So that's a good thing. And go back. How do I delete a page? How do I delete a page? We haven't talked about that?
Is it like under manage site, delete?
Let me just show you that. Okay, so if I want to delete a page, let's say Unit 5, I only have to do 2 units a year, so I don't need 5. So I'm going to delete that. So I go to the gear. The gear is always like a go-to place. Page settings, you can change those. Jack showed you that. You can print a page if you want. You can copy a page. Cool. Move a page. Move a page sometimes is helpful if you get in a haste and you create it and you don't tell it to be out here on the, whatever that's called, parent side. If you put it as a subpage and you meant for it to be out, you can actually move it out. You can change where it's located. But here's where you delete it. And it gives you a warning. You sure you want to do this? And you say yes. And now Unit 5 page is now gone. Okay? You shouldn't have to do that in here, but just so that you know that there is a way to do it. How do I delete a wiki site? We don't want you to delete it. But here's something. Some of you made a wiki site with a different Gmail account or a different account, and now you've made another one. And if you don't want that old one because you're not going to use it, you can delete it. So just as an example, you go to sites, and you see all these sites. Oh, I'm logged in. How do I get logged in? Oh, Jack's logged in.
No, that's mine.
You got a bunch. Okay, so these are some people. Is that test site still one you want to keep? Is there anything you want to delete?
Get rid of the test sites.
Okay, so let's say we want to get rid of the test site. So what you do is you click on it, and that puts you into it, and then you go to the gear, and then you go to manage site, and then where is it? Down here, somewhere down here.
Back up.
Up, somewhere on here.
There it is.
Here it is, delete this site. So it's not as easy as just clicking an X. So you have to really kind of go someplace to do it. But you really go to the site, you have to be at the site to delete it. You have to own it and you have to be there to delete it. So, and you want me to do it?
Go ahead.
Okay, so if I click delete, it'll ask you a warning again, and hit delete, and then save. Oh wait.
I think that if you click on deleted sites, it's actually still there. So
Yeah.
it's like halfway deleted.
Yeah. And there's a deleted site that allows you to restore it. So there's some safeguards in here. And then if you say, I definitely don't want it anymore, you do that. Well, I'll just leave it there so that you can have it. All right, so we're back to, where can I get more help? JackRoaring@gmail.com. Let's go back. Well, we've got a slide on it, though.
I think there's a slide. Go to the
So it's
slide. I
coming.
can't remember the-
All right. So here's the leading. So I already went through this, and this PowerPoint presentation is on the wiki, so that you can go back and review it. We could have shared it and said what Jack did up front. We thought about this and said, okay, go watch the rest of it on your own and self-learn. But we had you as a captive audience and thought, well, we'll just go ahead and pound it in there too. So this is just repeated information. And Jack has a YouTube video of this same presentation, right?
I don't think I've posted it.
But
it's a little bit different than this.
It's a little different than this, but you know, we're in the process of kind of creating a, what do you call it, online version of kind of a mini or typical scenes program that they're not seeing. So this material could be shareable at some point where you can watch it on your own. Multiple copies, so you know, again, they're here because it's important stuff, and that's why we wanted to make sure that we got it there. That's a repeat of the demonstration that I did. Subscribing, and it's under the more. Did we demonstrate that yet? Or?
Yeah, he did. Well, I don't think he did, but one of the things that's important here is you may have to coach your coach
Yes.
on how to do this, because they may forget from year to year.
Oh, shoot.
Because you want your coach to know when you make changes.
No,
Or
I
maybe
messed
you
up.
don't. So you may have to help them out.
Oh my gosh, where am I? Oh, right here. Guess I'm here. Yeah, it's under more. Okay, so this, I don't have to demonstrate this. It shows you here when you click on more, see where it says subscribe to page changes? Okay.
Yeah, it's actually instead of more, I think there's the gear there instead of the more.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah, it's-
Well, is that right? The new version?
yeah, I didn't change the
Ah,
size.
so there's a new, yeah.
Right.
Subscribe to site changes. There's a difference between subscribing to site changes and page changes, and what would that be? So if it's page, if you make changes, that's all that they're going to see, because if you do it on other pages, they won't get it. So all of the coaches should click this, and I can click that. So let me just, because it is different. So if I wanted to go to John Doe, not necessarily logged in. See, yeah, there's no more here anymore. So you go down there, and this is where you say subscribe to site changes. It's really helpful if you work with other collaborators too, like multiple teachers in a department, or, you know, you subscribe to those things so you can see what the other person is doing. And that's where I mentioned the other day that sometimes page subscriptions are really effective if you use it with your classes, because if you say, this is period 5 page, and then you can have those, you know, matter of fact, you can share it just with the group of people, and they can subscribe to that page changes so that that's all that they see. Okay. And repeat. And then changing theme colors, this is a repeat again of what we did before. Looks a little bit different on this version, right? I think it was different what I demonstrated. Deleting page, we've already done. Again, the more is gone, but manage site. And this is the help part. So I do want to show you this. So if you go to the gear and you go down to Sites Help, it's right there. And you can type in whatever you want. There's a forum, feedback. You can type in anything you're having trouble with before sending me an email, and you might be able to self-help. It's really good. Everything that you want to know about it is there. Is there any other place, Jack, that you're aware of?
I would do a Google search too, because there's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Google search is a great way to find help.
Right.
on this, too.
Right. So,
So to add my YouTube video, I'll just put the link in here.
yeah, I'll show you that here in a second. I think I'm about done here. There's a beginner's guide someplace. I'm not sure where that is now, but because they've updated. It's different than what we have in here. So again, if you have questions, either one of us, we're here. We're at your service, and that's the end of that. So let me go back here, and let's go to. So YouTube, let's say, so here's some Summer Institute Engineering Design Process. Here's a video. This was in 2014. And if you find one, you just go up to the top, Control C, what is that? Okay, Control C is copy, and then you go back to your wiki, and you go to like page 2, which doesn't have anything up there. You go to the pencil, and see it blinks in your open space. You do Insert, and it is all the way over here to YouTube. Now while I have that open, if you uploaded an MPEG-4 video to your Google Drive, you can go to Drive as well.
Now, so you don't have to link them all to YouTube, you can link them to.
It depends. We're recommending you go to YouTube because it's a much cleaner, neater
like
way to go.
things that- like
So I'm
I
going to
have
choose.
things I don't
I'm going to
like
choose
on
that.
YouTube.
And here's where you would put the. So to paste the URL, you click what? Control V. Yes. If you want to, you can make it different sizes here, viewable sizes. I like leaving it the smallest one. And if you want to be descriptive, like what is this, you can give it a title that just appears on the page. And I'm just going to save it as is. Now, I don't see anything yet. Why? It's a placeholder. What do I need to do? Big blue button, upper right hand corner. You've got to save what you do. If somehow you click someplace else, you can lose the work that I have a lot of students do. Now here's what I said was the cool part, and I showed it to you before, is it plays right on your page. You don't have to go to YouTube, you don't have to go away
So
from
I'm
the
just
wiki.
going to start
It's
out,
all there.
and then most of this, will be hands-on stuff.
See how much older Rob looks now? That was a year ago. He's not here. He's not here. We can make fun of him. No, but what I do, like when I review your, I can also go full screen here and watch it. And all I have to do is go to this, and I'm right back on your page. I don't have to do this YouTube thing. Because if I do that, it takes me to another.
With CJ and.
It takes me to another tab. It doesn't take me away from it, but it takes me to another
Hey
tab.
Danny, one of the things I would like to show them, click on the gear there.
Back here. Here?
Right, no, right on the video, there's a little gear.
Oh, down here, yeah.
Right there,
Yeah.
okay? And you see where it says speed on there? Okay, now I know you got tired of me talking in some of those videos, so what you can do is you can make the speed faster. Okay, so that 20-minute video, you can make that a 16-minute video.
Right.
Okay.
And he'll
That's
sound like
way
one of the
to watch
chipmunks.
videos now. Okay, because I know you're limited on time.
Okay,
Yes,
so I
you
won't
can.
wait too long. So what we're talking about is we're going to be. And I'm going to
Alvin! All right, so that's that. The other thing is, I like to kick up my HD. If it's been produced in HD, doesn't always default to it. And 720p is adequate HD for internet viewing. You can do 1080. The downside of clicking the 1080 is, what do you think? What would the drawback be? Any thoughts?
If you want of the image be real fuzzy if you don't have, or pixely if you don't have.
The difference between the 1080 version and the 720 version is just file size,
Oh,
and it's the streaming.
okay, so it'll.
It takes longer
it
for
won't
the
be-
1080 to get all that information down to your
So it
computer.
won't be pixely, but it'll be slow.
Oh, no, it won't be pixely at all. It'll be great. So what I'm just
If it
saying is
isn't
720 is adequate.
But if it wasn't produced in HD, won't it look weird?
You won't have the option.
Yeah, okay.
No. So when you click the gear and you click the quality, you won't have 720.
It won't be a
It'll be
choice.
the highest that it was made at.
Okay, okay.
So a lot of them will be 420 and all this lower res stuff, which is all you get.
Okay.
So, but these are some neat things to know about watching videos online, is that 720p is adequate for internet stuff. If you're watching it on your magnificent HD TV at home and you're streaming on Netflix and stuff, well, you want 1080, you know? That's assuming that your streaming, internet provider is there. And you can watch that, there's all kinds of things you can do once you're here, but that's the YouTube version. So, and that's how you would put it in there, and that's how you save it, and it's a look through. It's not taking up any space on the wiki. So, let's see, is there anything else? Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. This is just some added information, nothing that you need to know. I'm going to edit my home page, and I'm going to go to layout. And let's say maybe I want to make it maybe a right sidebar. And that gives me another place over here where I can do something like add a blog. This is like if you have a class and you want to, right on that home splash page, you want to post some stuff that they're going to see. Are you seeing it? Yeah. So, and then once I'm in there, I can do insert. And I can insert all kinds of, there's gadgets, like a Google Calendar. I'm going to leave all those settings the same. And I'm going to save this. And you can see that there's a little calendar over here. So if you have a Google Calendar that you've created for your work, your class, whatever, remember I talked about that the other day, Google Calendars are really good tools. And so they could be right there on your page. And that's just sidebar. There's other ways you can look at layouts here. For the seams, I mean, you can mess around with your home page a little bit if you want to put a sidebar or divide it in half. Doesn't matter because we're not going to put a whole lot of real good, needed content on the home page. We don't want you to redesign the pages, the unit pages, because we want those to be uniform. Okay? So the only page you can play on is the home page, or you can create a new page and call it play page, and you can put everything else you want on there. Okay? So, I mean, I encourage you to not think you're going to break anything. Try stuff out. Play with it. That's exactly what we want you to do when you have the time. When you're bored and you're, taking one of these classes and you're just tired of it, just flip over to Wiki. And if they say, what are you doing? Say, well, this guy named Denny Duck said. Okay. Any questions? Jack?
I'm good.
Anything? Everybody got what they wanted? Now, I would like to make a comment about your exit ticket things that you did from the first wiki to this wiki, and some of them were on there. They were valid comments, like, some of us already kind of know this stuff. It would be nice if we could have gone to Wiki 2 and, you understand why we didn't? Because without having a unified file generator, you wouldn't have had the stuff to work on Wiki 2. So it's kind of like we have to do this stuff in a systematic way. You just can't have it all at once. And we wish we could, but there's no way. And it's like the posters coming not next week, but 2 weeks from now. And the videos coming 3 weeks from now, and then 4 weeks from now. And some of you are going to say, well, I want to get going. Well, there's only so many days. And we have to kind of spread it out and make it when it's most appropriate. So, I'm real pleased with where you are right now. I mean, the biggest challenge you have is not these tools, because you already know them now. The biggest challenge you have is starting to develop those templates and fill them in and get your units going. So.